Hello, you lovelies, and welcome to KoiCast, a podcast about pop culture, lots of comic books, and an affinity for most people. It is November 2024. It is the last election where democracy still holds some semblance of truth. It may remain next week. It may not. Tune in to find out. But I am joined by the ever lovely, the ever effervescent, the ever hopeful, the one, the only, the bacon. Jake, how are you?
I'm all right. So I just want to say that you've like altered your intro throughout the last year or two.
It's true.
Because you stopped saying I'm Koy Jandro.
He's gone.
I'm a Bostonian who likes. And now you just started saying welcome to KoiCast, a podcast about. But you still say
about people
and
things.
an affinity for. So you say this is a podcast about an affinity,
which is true,
not about people.
No, it's about having an affinity for people, because we discussed that we try to like most people. I'd say it's on brand. Well, because you know what I think it was? I think I was self-conscious because the show became more about both of us than just Koy, so I took out the me.
Well, no, you're introducing yourself.
But my brain went. I think that I'm having a moment of epiphany.
Also, what happens is you then introduce the show, and then you introduce me, but you don't say anything.
I don't even know. I'm not even here.
First time listeners are like, who's this guy?
Who's this guy?
I guess he's KoiCast.
I think he's John T. KoiCast. I assume this man
Tiberius.
Strangely
T stands for Tiberius, right?
Yep. Always. It's always the TB.
Anyways, you asked me how I was doing.
How are you?
Doing all right. We are recording this the day before Election Day.
We are.
People will be listening the day after Election Day.
I am fascinated by the difference in what that means. The most important 48 hours, perhaps.
I mean, it's easy for us to say, oh, everybody will know a lot of stuff that we don't know.
They won't know.
But the reality is they're probably just as much in the dark as we are now.
We'll know in December.
It'll probably be days because, the
it's been good for my anxiety, tell you what.
The Orange Fox already began litigating shit that hasn't happened.
It's been fun to watch, people blow up election booths and stuff. I didn't even want to go political, but I had to. It's immediately came to mind.
It's on. I mean, it's hard to. It's happening.
Yeah.
Like it's.
We talked about Halloween last time because it was Halloween.
We're gonna wake up early, and it's fucking. We love living here. Literally, our polling place is in the park across the street.
Oh, that's adorable.
Where we walk the dogs.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take the boys out, and then
do some democracy.
Quickly go do our democracy.
I did vote already. I voted last week.
Did you?
I
did you do the mail-in ballot? Or did you?
I did early and walk in. My place
gotcha.
had a whole week, so I got to vote 6 days ago early.
Oh, I bet you.
Probably could go vote right now,
yeah.
and you might save hours because there's probably hundreds of olds that think it's just tomorrow.
I don't know. I mean, I've never.
It's also a very small town,
but I've never had that problem. Even in like busy Burbank, I've never had a problem.
I've never waited. Hour was the longest I ever waited.
I feel like the longest I've ever waited was maybe 15 minutes.
And now you're not in Burbank.
In the 15 years I've been
I voted. The coolest place I ever voted was during the pandemic. I voted in the Hollywood Bowl, like in the actual bowl.
Yeah.
And that was so momentous.
That is
like it just felt so like I'm doing a difference. Yeah. Like I felt like a Starship Troopers ad. Like but ever since,
I am here, and where is John Williams?
This is me changing things. But ever since, every vote has been like lackadaisical because the scope of that one. Like now whenever I vote, I'm like, remember that one time it felt important?
I'm in a VFW.
I literally went to a senior citizens home the other day. Like that's where I voted this time.
A senior citizens home.
Like an individual, a person. John T. KoiCast. I went to his home. I said, sir.
He's a senior citizen. He does get that discount.
I just knocked and I said, AARP card, let me vote. What was funny, do you know Mark and Draco? He's a comic book writer. He's a buddy of mine.
Sounds familiar. The name sounds familiar.
So I voted in a senior center, and it was like completely empty the whole time I was there. Like I'm the one person, me and my fiance, 0 other human beings. As we go to leave, one other person enters, and it's my buddy Mark and Draco. And we have this moment. He's wearing like a giant vote shirt and all this stuff. And it was this like the most obvious place to run into someone that cares as much as he does, but also that really surreal moment of like, oh, right, other people are doing this today.
Right.
So we had a great little chat and talked comics and democracy, and I thought of the show because that's like the most us thing.
The only time I remember, I think it was actually in the last election, was I remember going to the polling place. No, I think it was Hillary, maybe. I think it was
a while back,
8 years ago, going to our polling place in Burbank in our old apartment and having like the vigor of like, like we're going to vote for the first one. And it was like this momentous occasion voting for the first. It was definitely Hillary because I remember having a conversation with Alexandra about how irritating this was. Going and voting and then looking behind me and 2 people behind me in line was my shitty MAGA neighbor. and how in that moment I thought like, oh, he's canceling my vote out. Like it does. Like I know that he's here.
The immediacy of how it's nope.
I know he's here, and now we both just might as well go home.
So funny.
Let's just both just leave.
But then at the end of the day, you remember you're voting in California,
I know.
so it doesn't much matter.
I know, and I'm
general.
obviously I'm being hyperbolic for the sake of comedy because
so
all the ballad stuff is just as important. But in that moment I had of like,
100%.
God damn it, he's here.
The immaturity does pop up when you're like, trying to have a difference.
Are you still having headphone problems?
It's just the left doesn't. It's not.
Do you want to try plugging it into one of those different outlets?
Is that okay?
Yeah, plug it into a different
works.
one. Just plug it into one of these 2 up here.
Okay. Oh, they're like all prolonged. Oh no, they've got things in them.
Oh, so then just
remove a thing.
Oh boy.
Guys, it's going great.
How's that?
Oh, that's way better. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You know how weird it is when there's only one ear? It's like
I
was
know.
like vertigoing.
All right. Great. Leave that like that for now.
Also, I have an ear infection right now. Again.
Great. Remind me to fucking disinfect those.
I just thought of that. Well, it's
headphones.
not contagious like that, which I found out by asking.
I don't know.
No, I keep getting them after every con. I used to get con crud. Now I just get consistent. Ever since I got COVID, I get infections that turn into either ear, nose, or throat infections, or the whole thing gets full. I had to go to the hospital this week.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You've been doing that a lot lately.
I fell over physically. Like I stood up and like all my blood pressure dropped because the equilibrium of my skull was off. And I literally fell and like an old person. I was like, oh, can't get up.
Is that why you were at the home? And you're like, I might as well vote while I'm here.
While I'm here. I mean, I'm just checking in. Yeah, I had to go to the fucking hospital. It's terrifying. Yeah, literally, I was for 5 days, I had no sense of balance. And I don't know if you've ever been through that for like a prolonged period of time. I felt like I was losing my mind. Like my mental health was deteriorating because I was like, lacking sensation of awareness, and I was also
been the last 3 days for us here, but I get it.
It was really disorienting. So it actually kind of felt good when I fell, and I was like, "There's a reason." Like at least there was a solution.
Or you were just like, "It's nice down here."
Yeah, this is pleasant. No one can hurt me. So it's been a rough couple weeks, but
I'm sorry to hear that.
Just chaos.
We had. Did you enjoy your Halloween?
I had the most calm Halloween I've had, I think, since I was 5. And I think I need to remember that I enjoy calm too, because as a person of my energy, I think that I only like when I think of me, I'm like, I like an 11, and like I forget I occasionally need a 3. And so it was a really good Halloween for me to be like, you can enjoy calm, Coy.
Nice.
So I did.
We, I think I talked about this last time. Like we don't really get a Halloween because of Alexandra's work,
right?
And this year, there something happened, and it became apparent that she would not be sleeping.
Oh no.
That she started work Halloween morning at like 5 a.m. She woke up really early because she was like, I want to get ahead of it and then maybe be done. And then it became apparent that like, I'm not going to be done working.
Ugh.
And the first is the deadlines. And so literally she's dealing with these fucking shit fucking teenagers. Oh my God, I hate them. Anyways, she was by like 1 a.m. it was clear that there was still a ton of work to do.
Ugh.
So I was like, I'm going to be a good supportive boyfriend and stay up with you. And just like, we're in this together. I'll stay up with you. I've never regretted anything more in my life.
I mean, you can't pull an all-nighter.
You're 41 years old.
You're not.
Can I tell you, but the both of us, so we literally, I did eventually pass out at about like 5 a.m. for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Might be worse.
She finally actually was able to like finish work and then had to go, but like got like a couple hours of sleep and then had to go back to work on the first for a little bit. But like today's the 4th time of recording, still have not recovered.
Yeah, because you're 41. Because you're not 14.
She's
Inverse those numbers.
She's a spring chicken compared to me.
But like all-nighters aren't a thing anymore.
No, it was rough.
I'm so sorry.
We'll talk about this on the Patreon only pod. I spent that time playing Spider-Man.
Respect.
And I was like, this will be a thing that
I love this.
Because it's like,
you're like, this is content.
But it'll be easy because otherwise I'll fall asleep.
Right.
Because it's an active. Yeah. I'm playing a game. It's easy I can stay up all night playing video games. I can't stay up all night watching TV or movies.
I was on 6 prescription medications and I went to 2 parties, could not drink, and I usually do, and I still had a better Halloween just out of being calm.
Great.
Oh my God.
Fantastic.
But
we did get a big bag of Halloween candy for the trick-or-treaters.
Yep.
And got none of them. Not because this is a bad trick-or-treat town, but because of where the doors of our apartment are located.
Yeah.
We are nestled in a dead end.
Right.
Around the corner from the garages.
It's a commitment to walk to the store.
It's a scary dead end for
also,
a kid.
Yeah, it's intimidating.
So it was halfway through the evening and we just hadn't gotten anybody. And I was like, oh, I guess like and I predicted like, I guess it's this, whatever. I don't know if it's the neighborhood. And I ran out to get food.
You saw this.
And I took a right up Dunsmore up to the corner here. And I was just like, this is a sitcom Halloween town. There were hundreds of people.
Me so happy.
I was so joyous that I was immediately so sad. I was like, oh, I want Alexandria to just go out for a walk. Like, it'd be really nice just to go for a walk in the neighborhood.
Have half an hour.
Everybody's houses are decorated. People, I was like worried driving.
Yeah,
because it was
just so dense.
Because it was so dense. I was like, I'm gonna hit a kid. But there were so many kids. By the way, Deadpools are everywhere.
Yeah,
there were so many little. You shouldn't let your kids watch.
They should not
movies.
know this character. They should not know him yet.
I saw a lot of little superheroes out there, which was nice. A lot of Marvel characters out there.
Dude, I think DC is about to be such a force with what costume. I think
kids,
once Superman hits, it's going to be a balance finally for the first time in our adult life, arguably, because Marvel's had a chokehold since 2008.
Right.
I think it's going to be really cool when we actually see like the amalgam universe on these streets.
Right.
And I think that's coming like 2026. Right. And I'm really excited for it. Like genuinely, I feel like DC is with Creature Commando starting in December as a soft warm up.
Everybody says that like, oh, James Gunn's DCU finally begins, and I'm like, didn't it technically begin with Blue Beetle?
So, well, he didn't have anything to do with that. He joined the studio, as that was being developed.
Didn't they decide that that is part of his universe?
That will be canon, but
yeah,
I don't know if they're. I mean, it didn't do well enough for it to must. Like, I think that was
they
like,
might just be like, never mind that.
Yeah, like so sorry.
And what about Peacemaker?
So Peacemaker but season 1 is going to be retroactively canon because they're going to be changing multiverses. So I think he puts on a helmet. He's going to go to because think about it, Peacemaker had the other Snyder characters in it, so you have to clean that house. It's going to be a little messy in the beginning, but I think it's going to get good. That said, Halloween this year I dressed as Drifter Bruce Wayne because it's the only in our lifetime. It's the only Halloween that's Thursday, October 31st, the week before an election year.
Sure,
it's the one time.
Sure.
And literally, it's canon.
Right.
So that was cool. And then the lady dressed as Catwoman, which was fun. So we had a very on-brand first fiance Halloween couples costume. It was very cute.
Very cute.
And we did like 2 parties. It's just weird to go to like as someone I'm not sober, so to go to parties and not drink is a very different experience out of like autopilot.
Right.
Because like
you actually had to participate.
Well, my brain had to be like, how do I maintain a sense of like joy without it being hinged on. Like the social lubricant, if you're used to it, makes it a deficit if you don't have it.
Oh, you're speaking to the fucking.
But you're not used to it.
I know,
anymore.
you're right. I get it. But here's the realities. So shout out to Julian. You know Julian Higgins?
Yeah,
director.
I love that guy.
Shout out to Julian who once
Deadpool musical.
He once coined the phrase. Yeah, he did. It directed a really fun Deadpool musical. If you haven't seen it online, you should watch it. All of our friends worked on it. It's great. And written by my buddy Paul Bianchi, who's in town from Scotland this week. Very excited to see him again. Anyways, I digress. He coined the phrase Jake's drunk tolerance. And so because they were at a party and he would say like he'd be watching, and even though he's hammered and everybody else hammered, he would see like around 9:45. It was like, oh, Jake's drunk tolerance. It's at its peak. That's it. Like Jake's gonna be leaving.
He's out.
He's gonna leave in 15 minutes. And he was almost exclusively right every time, because when you are the only sober person, it's very fun at 8:00 when everybody's tipsy and having a good
10,
time.
Less so.
But at 10, when everybody is just not existing in the same realm, and you're just like, does anybody need a ride? I don't know. Like,
what do I do? What do I do here?
Yeah, no, and I've lived. That's been my entire life. So yeah,
it's so different for me because I went to a bar. I went to a friend's house that was like, drinking games like Flip Cup and stuff,
right?
Which isn't that fun if you're sober. And then I went to a bar. My buddy Tony bought a bar, and he wants to have like that be a safe place for people to be able to hang out in the chaos of Halloween. And I thought that was really cool to be like, you're here. Don't worry about it. Like, just hang, because LA can be not violent, but aggressive on Halloween. Like there's an edge to it.
Parts of it.
Yeah. So like to have a bar that feels like a safe haven was kind of cool, but it was really weird to be like the sober guy because I'm not that guy. So it was an odd Halloween, but it felt good to wake up on the first not dead. And then we went to Oak Glen apple picking, which was really cute. We had a little quaint like mountain day.
That's fun. I want to do that. We did not. We did not make it out like we said we were going to because of work.
Yeah, I was hoping.
all of the we were like, oh, we're gonna get out of town. We're gonna go to Sullivan. We're gonna go, and it was just like the whole month got away from us, like it does every year.
Yeah.
But this is maybe an off the record comment. Alexandra is literally downstairs on the phone right now with her boss, being like, "Yeah, this doesn't work anymore."
Fuck yeah.
And so whether or not that ends up being,
respect.
a good like, well, we're gonna shift and change the way that we do business, because she's not the. It's like it's not just her; it's the clientele.
Yeah.
Like her
no, I
friend,
respect that. You got to stand up for yourself.
Anyways,
So yeah, that was the last couple weeks. Haven't had much time for downtime. I've got an announcement in the next 4 or 5 weeks I'll be able to talk about, but it's been keeping me real busy, plus all the growing my own YouTube page. Agatha wrapped up, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about the Agatha season finale on
Patron Pod, because it is as a tease to the listeners, it is the biggest change from episode 1 to the finale for me since Secret Invasion.
I'm
but
glad.
Inverted.
I'm glad because
I'm really excited to talk about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll talk about that there. But what else we want to talk about? There was a big comic book block party. Yeah.
I'm very jealous that I wasn't able to attend this.
It was so unique, dude. It was cool because it was literally just the Artist Alley part of Comic-Con, and it was outside. And it was outside a comic store. So it kind of felt like a fever dream.
Right.
Like if you're a kid and you're like, what's Comic-Con like? You think it's this. And I'd never been to one that was just pure. Because even at the smallest of cons, there has to be some sort of oversight and corporate blah, blah, blah. This was literally Patton Oswalt teamed up with a comic store. And this is the second one of these. And for an hour, a certain set of people sign. There's a half-hour gap. And then another round of people sign.
And what's it called again?
It was at Revenge of, and it was the Revenge of Block Party. Right. So the comic store is called Revenge of.
Yes.
It's in Eagle Rock.
Yes.
And the Revenge of Block Party, Patton Oswalt and Jordan Blum throw it. And like tons of my buddies were there. Like just like comic writers and artists. And Brian Michael Bendis, who doesn't do a lot of signings outside of Portland.
He's rarely there.
Dude, so he flew in for it. And he was only supposed to sign for an hour. He signed for 5.5 because he's an angel.
He's one of the only people who I actually have signatures on books of.
Dude, he's an angel.
But it's funny because I just said he rarely is around signing it, but only because somebody gifted me. I can't remember what books now that I'm thinking of it, but I know for a fact I have like his big signature, like right on the cover, like over the entire thing. And I was like, oh, that's one way to do it. But that's really fun.
It was cool. And then David Desmalchin came by, who's a buddy who is an actor and writer.
Right.
And it was really cool to see the audience that he brought that were discovering comics or rediscovering comics. And I love when you can leverage celebrity in a way that gets people into that medium. And I think he's doing a really good job. Like he did that book, Count Crowley, I talked about a while, but now he's at DC writing Creature Commandos.
Right.
So he's doing a book that's going to tie into a show. So if that's going to bring in a new audience.
Is he doing like the DCU canon Creature
He's
Commandos?
doing a take on it that isn't in show canon. That way they don't have to worry about continuity.
But it's like those versions.
It's those characters. Kind of like, you know, certain Guardians runs, like it'll be Chris Pratt as
yes, 100%. Yeah.
But you don't have to worry like what I have to read. And then like the first DCU canon comic, I think I told you, is Tim Seeley and Mitch Gerads doing the Vigilante book.
Yeah.
So they're starting that way. And that's why I think in 2 years we're going to see like a swarm of DC kids, like costumes and stuff.
And because it's going to be a little bit easier
approachable
for them to onboard.
Right. Because it's all new number ones. And then Absolute Books are selling
in fairness,
out like crazy.
Marvel did the exact same thing. But I think Marvel is already such a new title machine. 100%. Not that DC isn't, I guess. But
they just
I guess
don't have the PR. They've been doing it a little wrong.
I guess you want to know what it is I guess that Marvel's, I mean, I'm gonna get messages on the Discord from this, but I think Marvel just has a deeper roster of characters that are more popular.
I was gonna say, I think their roster is about 1.5 times the size in the scale of 80% of people know them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yes. And so like Marvel's like, there's constantly, the new run of this character, new run of this character, and it's always existing. Whereas DC, it's like there's 17 Batman books right now. There's 3,
and Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and that's kind of the ones people know.
Yeah, it's Justice League characters that are the top tier characters,
right? Yeah. And Flash is like more known now, but like they need to work on their overall optics, and I think that's what they're doing. Yeah. And the Absolute books are selling out, like Absolute Batman. Of course, they launched the Batman book, but that is on its 5th printing.
Wow!
And that book dropped last month. That's crazy. That's unheard. That's ultimate shit. Like that's unheard of.
Did this same store, the Revenge of? Was this your first time going to that store?
Yeah, first time there. It's a pinball store. It's a pinball
arcade
wait a minute. And comic store.
I literally just had, this is so strange. I just had this conversation with Scott over on Palski's. Scott, my co-host of Pro Wrestling Palski's, is a huge pinball guy.
Plays great.
And he was talking about wanting to go to that place when he was out visiting last time.
That's so funny, dude.
And he was like, I hadn't been there yet.
They have an X-Men pinball machine. It's fantastic.
Yeah, he's a real pinball connoisseur. So he's the kind of guy who walks into a place like that and tells you everything that's wrong with it. But not that he's like a downer, but he's like, well, this.
He knows it.
Yeah. He's like this machine and this machine and this. And that.
They shouldn't pair here. It's it's like Corey Haim in Lost Boys. You can't put the red kryptonite because it's blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's not a negative. It's just that's not there that goes.
Right.
But yeah, the store was cool. I had a lot of respect for them doing that. They used their whole like back area, which they cleaned out, to have this like really well set up con. It rotated really well. The lines were well done. Like I was really impressed. It felt more than a lot of cons.
I mean, like Eagle Rock, we got Vidiots, we got this
Dude,
thing
Eagle Rock's
happening.
dope.
The Eagle Rock is starting to come up as like a nerd haven.
It's like a nice East Side nerd haven because West Side's got the hippies, but they're trapped.
It's tough out there.
It's trapped. It's
also, if there's no event out there that I'm gonna go to,
I can't.
I
go twice
Eagle
a year.
Rock. I'm like, yeah, that's right around
there.
the corner. Yeah,
But
and
I
I'm
like
even
twice
closer
a
to
year
it
I
now.
make it past Fairfax.
Right.
Maybe. But yeah, it was really cool, and I saw some people I don't get to see outside of cons, and at cons it's hard to like talk to friends because it's
there's also
working.
for you, yeah.
Also,
for
my
me, it's
God.
like for me, I'm just wandering around. I have all the time in the world, but you're like, I have a thing in 13 minutes.
Yeah. And then I've also got people that, and like I love meeting people that listen to the show, and I
Sure.
love meeting people that watch my stuff. But it's really hard, like mid conversation, like stop, go. So it felt really cool to be.
Right.
It felt more like when you're in a friend's circle, and so
Sure.
when people joined in that were fans or like people in the space, it didn't feel like it was levels,
Right.
which was cool. So I had a lot of fun.
And this has been annual for 2
Yeah,
years
2
now.
years. So it's the second annual. Hopefully another one next year.
Always around this time.
I think so.
Good time for it
It is,
because it's like the break,
and it's
like
after cons,
Yeah.
pre-holidays.
exactly.
I hadn't met Patton, talked to him. It was first time meeting Patton, which
Yeah.
is crazy considering we're like in the same circles to a very specific level.
Sure.
And like I just thanked him it was funny because I don't get as like flummoxed by comic writers anymore. I used to be more nervous around comic people than actors because
Right.
like on set you see these people, it's not as big a deal, but like these
Right.
people created my dreams.
Sure.
Like so writers are like magicians to me.
Right.
And it
yeah.
was really funny because Patton didn't feel like the actor or comedian Patton Oswalt.
Right.
Since it was at his event, he felt like the mayor. So like meeting him, there was
It's
this
like,
you're
Uncle-
the guy that's
Uncle-
running this.
Uncle
Yeah.
Patton, yeah.
So it was really funny meeting him in the context of like Mayor Oswalt. Pleasure.
Right.
But it was an absolute sweetheart. It was a really fun event. It was really cool to just be at like something that felt like when you're a kid, you think that community is this.
Right.
And it felt so wholesome.
Nice. Yeah, I'm jealous. Jealous I couldn't make it. That's gonna definitely go on the list for next season. 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel like
Highly
that's-
recommend.
That should be like a fun and easy, low pressure. You
Yeah.
just kind of show up, right?
I only got a little overwhelmed when I was like 40 people I wanted to talk to, and I got that moment of like, huh, and then I was
Right.
like, okay, you don't have to. There's no checklist, and I had to
Right.
like settle. But otherwise, it was completely like,
Right.
do you know Jonathan London, Geekscape? One of the-
No, I don't think
He's
so.
like one of the his site preceded Nerdist, like one of the old
Right.
first website nerd sites.
Right.
He just had a baby, 12-week-old. The baby was
Okay.
there, so it was like really cool to have like the circle of life of like old internet and like all these nerds and then 12-week-old baby.
I feel like if it's old internet, like what I need to do is I need to like look at the logo
I guarantee you
and
recognize
be like
this logo.
and be like Geekscape. It's called Geekscape.net.
Yeah, dude, this like OOG.
Yeah, I do recognize that logo.
So he founded that site like before Nerdist started.
right.
And he just had his first baby, and it was really cool to see him with a 12-week-old and like in this environment.
I think he's in my buddy Rob's circle. Rob G, also a guy who like started a horror website in the 90s.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, and so
I mean,
like,
the .net is a hell
yeah.
of a thing.
hey, that was mine for so long.
I respect it, man. It's working. But yeah, it was really cool. Highly recommend if you're in LA or if next year you hear about an announcement. It's really cool and everybody's really chill. It was also really, there was a few moments that really showed me what that community has become because the line for Bendis was roughly 7 to 10 times longer than Patton at any point.
Right.
Like at no point did Patton have a longer line.
It is a comic.
Yeah,
it is a
but
comic.
at Comic-Con, you don't ever see
Right,
that.
sure.
If there's a celebrity,
Right.
that will never happen.
Sure.
And Jerry Duggan's line was longer than Patton's most of the time. And like
Right.
Jerry Duggan, my buddies LJ and Cole, who you met at my birthday.
Right.
They came and we were all talking in a circle, and Jerry and I go way back. He's from Boston. Like
Right.
we know each other like pre all this. So we were talking very casually, and LJ and Cole had no idea that that's who he was because you don't recognize comic writers' faces necessarily. And then as soon as he went and sat down behind his name, they were like, "Oh, we wanted to ask about comic." Like they read his work,
Right.
and didn't realize they were talking to the person whose work they read.
Right.
But it was really funny seeing that shift in people. Like as soon as there's a line, oh right, that's what we're. And it was cool, man.
Right.
A lot of fun.
Well, again, I'm jealous. I want to talk about your shop, House of Secrets.
Oh yeah. That's my
Did
go-to,
you,
man.
Did you?
Yeah, they got broken into bad.
Did you hear? Yeah, they got what? Do you know what happened? Because I only heard this through a friend of the pod, Robin.
Yeah, I actually put up. I actually tried to get the word out about people helping and trying to find some of the books that got stolen because it was really specific stuff, which makes me feel like it's an inside job.
Yeah, like what?
So the
what
store
happened?
has 2 owners and like 1 main employee. So I don't think it was an inside job as far as those people. I think it was someone who had like scouted it. Because Liam, who's a friend, like a real life friend, is the main guy that works there, and he was going into work at like 10 a.m. and he just happened to be by at like
Right.
8:30. So he was going to swing by and get his like iPad or something. Like he was there early and was going to grab something and come back when he was actually supposed to work.
Right.
And in that window, it had just happened because the church said they saw when they went into the church, everything was fine. People coming out of the church saw the door broken. and the church is right next door.
Yeah.
So
it's across the
sometime
street.
between 8 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. it got broken into,
And
he was there at like 8:40.
Right. And House Secrets, to give you guys an idea, it's on the corner of an intersection, and the door faces the intersection. It's at like a 45-degree angle. So it's very much like
Can't
looks.
miss it.
The irony is that it looks like a store in a comic book that
It's
would
so
get
great.
broken into.
It literally
Right.
It looks like
It
a
doesn't-
Pagoda and Spider-Man, the comic store that would get broken into. So
that's
they
fucking
broke
terrible.
in. They took stuff from the rack, like the glass case, but they only took stuff from half because they didn't even bother sliding the door open. They only took it from the half they could access, which is weird.
Well, or it was like it was a real rush,
real smash grab.
they were.
But
Really
then
afraid.
another thing, they like replaced a door on. Like they took the thing off of a thing and put it back. So like it's all very contradictory.
I'm.
Do you know what I mean? Like
I,
one of
I,
those
by the way, I'm
things-
not victim blaming by any means. I'm also like, did they not? How do you not have cameras?
They do, but they
don't have foot.
I think they found a way to like wipe it.
What? No.
I don't know.
What?
I
Or they were just
didn't-
wearing.
I don't
stuff
want to be
had-
that guy.
Right,
Like I didn't
sure.
go in and be like, hey, so what the fuck happened?
Did they post anything themselves? House of Secrets?
Yeah,
Like,
they just put a story up saying like, hey, if you guys hear anything about stolen, like basically the usual, like we're fucked. What do we do?
Well,
when I said don't be that guy, I just mean I haven't asked because I
Right.
feel like it's too fresh. Like it was last week, but I do want to know because like that is my go-to store.
Yeah, they didn't. They did not post like a photo or anything like that, which I'm surprised about. Oh, hey guys, break in early this morning, smash and grab. Lots of mess and silver and golden age books stolen, along with other peculiar items. Putting a list together for police. Could use the help with reconstructing contents of our showcase and wall. Please comment if you can recall. So they're trying to remember what was
specific,
there.
yeah. And like literally one of the books that like got left is a book that I want. So I know it's still there because I went yesterday.
All right, listen, nobody was saying that you broke in. It sounds like you're
what
like,
I'm saying is
like,
it wasn't me. I wouldn't have left the Uncanny X-Men #1 because that's a book I want and I would have taken that. No, but what's crazy is in the side.
That's too much, Goy.
In the side that the glass case, they left an Uncanny 1, which is like a book even like a grandma would recognize as important.
Yeah, it very well might have just been,
Someone
like you
shop
said,
it.
a smash and grab.
Sounded like someone like wanting their shit. I don't know.
That's really fucking disappointing. Please support them if you're local. LA,
Yeah, I've been shopping
they have a
there
website.
forever. Yeah, and they ship, by the way, if you're not local.
It reminds me, man. I feel like, I don't know, I've probably told this story on the pod before, but it just reminds me so much of my childhood comic book store, which I loved so very much. It was also a house of. It was called House of Fantasy. No, I'm sorry, I lied. It was called World of Fantasy.
It's like that.
I had House of in my head, and I was like, oh, that's ironic. That's the same thing. Called World of Fantasy, in Deer Park, and it was the same sort of thing where it was like in a big strip mall, but it had like the windows that angle and go back, and then the door in the back, and it was the coolest place. They were one of those comic book shops in the 90s that like had a big selection of like t-shirts and like hats, and they sold like other stuff. This is before like you can go to a Hot Topic and buy stuff like that. Like you couldn't get like, I remember I had like a Venom hat, and like as a kid I was like, where do you can't buy that anywhere. Like Marvel license.
I remember that. Yeah.
And they just had an incredible selection of books. It was my neighbors who were like my big brothers growing up, who were the ones who got me into comics. They were the one. It was their shop, and they brought me there, and they taught me like how to get a box, and like he'll pull titles for you, and it was like that was home. The guy who owned it, Tom, like literally the neighborhood kids called him Uncle Tom.
Yeah, Larry from Larry's Comics, my uncle. Like we adopted him. He's Uncle Larry.
That's exactly
100%.
Everybody did. Yeah. And he was like the nicest guy. He was also sort of this like weird rocker dude.
Yeah.
Like he was like he had like a really interesting personality for a comic book owner. He wasn't comic book guy from The Simpsons, right? And one day it got out that it was the same kind of thing, complete smash and grab. Someone busted through the windows and just stole a bunch of the most valuable stuff. They stripped the wall that had like the books on the wall, in plastic. Took a bunch of merchandise. Essentially ruined it. They didn't immediately go out of business,
but it was the beginning at the end.
It was the beginning. I think he was out of business within the next 2 years from that point. But here's the thing: is there's this like in town conspiracy?
Oh, that he was
that it was a rival comic shop. And here's the reality: either way, they're shitty. So I'm talking to you. Captain Cronies was their name.
Yeah, call him out.
I think it was Captain Cronies, if I'm not mistaken.
What a fucking villain name.
We had three stores. We had Deer Park Comic and Cards. We had World of Fantasy, and we had Captain Cronies. I can't remember which of the other two it was. I think it was Captain Cronies because I remember thinking that's like the West. That's like a little bit further down the road.
It just sounds like someone that would break into another
Captain
comic store.
Cronies,
Yeah,
right?
Captain Cronies is a villainous store.
It actually is a cool name for a store.
It is, but it's also villainous.
Yes. So, in the weeks following the break-in, things appeared in that shop.
So
for
either they
sale.
bought it or they
So
stole
yeah,
it.
so either somebody from that fucking broke in and they robbed their competition.
Yeah.
Or they bought
nowhere else to sell
knowingly shit. They knowingly bought a stolen shit because everybody
knew
I was
that
a
it was
child
missing.
and I knew this.
Yeah, that no matter what, fuck them.
Right.
No matter
Like,
what, fuck them.
as a little kid, I remember. I mean, I can't pull them now because my memory's not that good. But
But if
as
you
a
see
kid,
a fucking Incredible Hulk 181,
exactly. I remember specific issues that that we were talking about in the neighborhood and that people at the shop were talking about. And man,
hey, that's so fucked.
Fucking broke my heart.
I hate
love that store so much. I'm dying to find a photo of that store somewhere.
Yeah,
because I have a vision of it in my head, but I don't like. This is pre-internet and all that stuff.
My first job that wasn't newspaper boy was working at Larry's, that comic store that I talked about, and I did it under the table because I was too young. So I literally was too young to legally work because I started working the week after my 14th birthday at a movie theater.
Right.
Because in Massachusetts, you can work at 14. So the week after my 14th, I remember I worked the fucking Two Towers Lord of the Rings, which is a hell of a week to fucking start at a movie theater. And that was before you had reserved seats.
Right.
So it was 500 person auditorium of just chaotic Lord of the Rings fans. Gosh. And I used to take money under the table because I would not at the job, I would take $20 to like walk you to the front of the line and see people in and shit.
Right.
Because I'm a motherfucker. But at the comic store.
Hey man, you got to hustle.
To this day. But the comic store was cool because it was like a skate shop up above, and then the downstairs basement was the comic shop. So they could survive when comics were bad.
That feels like the record store in Dogma.
Yeah,
No, I'm sorry,
100%.
the record store in Chasing Amy.
100% that
right?
vibe.
Like that's what
that is exactly. And I think he modeled it after that.
Right, that's
because you go downstairs and all of a sudden there's life-size standees, just like in Chasing Amy.
That's really cool. I had the exact same thing working like a week before I was supposed to, but at a McDonald's. Not the same. Not as
established and polished.
No, and I was far superior to Donald Trump doing it. I just want to say,
dude, I'm so excited to talk to The Apprentice
this week. Much better about it. But anyways,
but yeah, so that it's been
that's
rough.
a bummer.
Support House of Secrets; they are fucking incredible.
Also, I just want to shout out. It's been a while since we've gotten any calls about your local shops. Make sure that you always feel free to, call the hotline and shout out your local comic book shops.
Especially at the holidays. If you guys are getting comics and you want to support a local shop like House of Secrets, they do mail. So if you want to support local businesses, even if it's not your local business, support a local comic shop because they need it more than Amazon.
Also, I was just going to say, I want to shout out everybody on Threads who jumped on that dude who posted about buying that DC book. It was so innocuous. I'm sure it was something that they just posted for their friends, right? Like it was like, not, this isn't a celebrity, this isn't anybody, right? Just somebody posted on Threads like, well, I gave in and bought it. And it was a screen grab of like a hardcover edition of some DC book, some like ultimate edition of some big thing that they bought on Amazon. Like, and it was screen, and literally the thread just blew up, and it was just a bunch of people being like, hey, maybe you should have gone to a bookstore. Maybe you should have gone.
That's amazing.
And a part of me feels bad for this poor person.
Just trying to buy art, trying to buy it, and like buying a comic, but buying it wrong.
I know. And it was like, I both sides of both the angel name on my shoulder were just like, oh, this poor guy. And also like, yeah, get him.
Yeah, also true. I went to me and my fiance went to the bookstore just randomly. We were like, we'll go to a bookstore. And we went to a Barnes & Noble, which now feels like an independent bookstore compared to like, there are no bookstores. So even that feels special.
Sure.
Like Barnes & Noble.
In LA, where bookstores every 20 feet. But yeah.
But I think of bookstores as feeling just generally independent.
Sure. No,
like,
I respect
you know what I mean? Like going in a bookstore feels special.
Right.
So I went into Barnes & Noble and we were there for 4.5 hours and it felt so wholesome and great and like good.
You're just describing every time Alexandra and I leave the house.
I leave the house too much to go to parties.
You're slowly turning into me, and I'm very happy.
I just sat at a bookstore in the Grove and I sat in a window and read, but I was really cool because everything was cheaper on Amazon. But my rule was if it was within $20, I'm going to buy it at a bookstore. So I could like support the bookstore.
And I always feel like I can have it right now. And yeah, with Amazon, I can have it tomorrow, which maybe don't wait, but it's like, what do you, the extra few dollars? It's because a lot of time it's like within.
Yeah, that was my thing. $20 is like because they have great vinyl at the one in the Grove now. Like they have a fucking whole record store in the Grove.
You've been to the Last bookstore, right?
Yeah, I love the Last.
You know that the sister store is right around the corner from here.
No,
they have a small sister store that's fucking awesome.
Shit.
Right around the corner from here, and it's right in Old Town here, and there's a like fucking aviary in the middle of it.
That's cool.
It's so cool. It's really they obviously don't have the selection that does, but it's also like a greenhouse that's like it's really cool. We've got like so many bookstores right here in town. It's quite nice. But
yeah, support bookstores. Bookstores. You learn to read at the bookstores, and then you learn its book. Support bookstores. Support local shops. Do all that for the holidays. It is the holiday season. I feel like that was the stuff we want to talk about.
Yeah, we have some hotline calls. Do you want a Halloween?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in Yeah, it's like a bookstore and Halloween candy.
I have 125 piece candy, and nobody came to the door. So now I will
123.
Now I will be eating. We have just been slowly eating
through the holiday.
Yeah, it's fat season. So, anyways, tell the kids how they can call the hotline.
You guys
enjoy a Snickers.
You can call in at 818-794-0722. He says with complete confidence, phone on charger. 818-794-0722. You guys are the co-hosts. You guide this conversation. And more, I am loving the just sit and chat with Jake format of this show. So if you guys have stuff you want to talk about, like, please give those inputs and we can ramble about them. The Discord is also completely free. Check out koicast.com for all the merch, but also access to the Discord that is free, and you guys can put suggestions in there. We appreciate all that, but without further ado, let's hear what you have to say. Let's check out these calls. I think they're from the Dougs.
We've got a couple of Dougs. Doug squared? No, that would be more than two. Doug times 2.
Just Doug times.
Just Doug times 2.
Yeah.
Don't speak with your mouth full. What's wrong with you?
So sorry, Dougs.
What were you, raised in Virginia?
Yep, on the mountain.
Hello again, Coy and Jake. This is Doug from Pittsburgh, or Darth Vadad on Discord. A year ago, I was getting ready to have brain surgery. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who sent me love and support during that time. My implant controls the tremors, which has made a huge difference in my daily quality of life. It's not a cure for Parkinson's, though, so I'm still fighting it by doing things like voice therapy. If anyone in your life has tremors, make sure they see a neurologist. The sooner they're diagnosed, the better. Coy, I know you love the Clone Saga. Would you like to see Miles Warren and Ben Reilly introduced in the Tom Holland movies? I think Andrew Garfield could work as a slightly aged-up clone of Peter. Jake, do you still have those various trivia cards I sent you before the move last year? Hope you're finally feeling comfortable in the new space. Is there anything else you really need to finish the Dragon's Den? Believe it or not, Xmas is coming.
Darth Vadad.
Angel of the
I can't believe that was a year ago.
A year. It feels like at 4 months, 5.
It really does feel, I guess it makes sense. We were opening comic cards at that time.
Yeah.
Wow. Doug, we love you.
So glad that all's well, man.
Glad things are going good. Glad the voice therapy is that you're in it and you're working on it.
And what a voice to therapize. I'm always so impressed by his enchanting,
I'll answer my question first. Yes, I do have those trivia cards. Thank you for reminding me. He sent a MCU trivia pack and then a Batman trivia pack.
Yeah.
I feel like the Batman one would be interesting because I feel like that's probably maybe Spider-Man, probably our biggest overlap.
Agree.
For a mainstream character.
Yeah.
Even though people go, you guys always talk about X-Men. Man, maybe it's X-Men. I don't know.
X-Men
Anyways, but I'd be curious because I feel like the Bat lore is so much, it's like so all over the place because of what we were talking about earlier. There's so many
80
books.
years now.
Exactly. I'd be curious to do that. We should definitely, I know we have them.
That'd be fun for the holidays.
They did not come with us.
So they were in storage.
Yeah, they were in store. And so I know they're here now. We don't have all of our games out. Like they're still in boxes downstairs. But thank you for reminding me. We're going to bust those out and we'll do those on the show one day for fun. But yeah, I don't know. What about Clone Saga in the MCU?
I would want the same actor to play the clone.
Right.
So I wouldn't want Andrew to be Tom's clone or whatever.
No, I'd want Tom to play Ben Reilly.
Tom loves the Clone Saga. I know firsthand. I've talked with Tom about the Clone Saga. That's the thing he wants most.
Right.
So I would love if Tom Holland goes to college, has a full existential crisis, and that manifests in the Clone Saga with this hip new cool guy named Ben Reilly that works at a coffee shop that's bleach blonde Tom Holland. I'd love that. I think it's a really good opportunity for Tom Holland to show how good of an actor he is. I think it's a good opportunity to show that side of Spider-Man that isn't a more contained story, even though cloning is obviously very surreal. It's a more grounded thing than to go into space all the damn time. I love that idea. I would personally rather see Andrew Garfield do it just because that's more the sense of humor, I think.
The irony being that my big gripe with Amazing Spider-Man, the movie, was despite the fact that I still kind of think Andrew Garfield's my favorite Spider-Man,
He's definitely mine.
he's by a million miles my least favorite Peter Parker.
Oh, interesting.
It's the same. It's the same argument I had for years with the original Batmans, right?
Keaton?
Meaning that like Val Kilmer was a great Batman, but a terrible Bruce Wayne. And obviously those scripts were bad. So I'm talking like if we just take the actor, right? Great Batman, terrible Bruce Wayne.
George Clooney, Bruce Wayne.
great Bruce Wayne, god awful Batman. Keaton was good at both.
I think
right?
Bale was the first one that felt like he was equal.
Both, yeah. But I'm taking him out of that.
Okay,
the original three. I'm comparing those three to the three Spider-Men.
Got it.
I think Tobey, great Parker, bad Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Garfield, great Spider-Man, bad Parker. Tom, good both.
Yeah.
And so I think that like that's kind of my argument, but I just think that he was so like he was kind of a bully as Peter. He was already so smooth.
He was just cool.
He was too cool, which ironically I go, yeah, that's Ben Reilly.
Yeah.
That's Ben. Like that's
he's the cool
He
version.
Played Ben Reilly in Amazing
already.
Spider-Man.
Like he's already done it. That's funny. But he's also 40, so I don't know if the Clone Saga works in your 40s.
Of course, yeah.
Which is also a thing. He doesn't look it. My God. I saw We Live in Time, and him and Florence Pugh do not look an age over 31.
I will say this, like being very objective, I don't want to see the Clone Saga because we already have a movie with 3 Spider-Men in it.
Yeah. It's not going to be novel.
Yeah, I feel like the Spider stories that we have adapted to screen thus far are like the biggest, most create like
that's what they think it is, and it's not.
It's got to a point where I'm just like, I just want to see an entire movie of Spider-Man trying to take down fucking Kingpin,
and Aunt May just being like at home doing dishes and being worried about her heart.
Yeah. With that said, the Scarlet Spider was probably my most used costume in my playing of Spider-Man.
Dude,
for the
a
first
live
time.
action Scarlet Spider suit would blow my mind.
But I don't know. It's interesting. I just think that like. I don't know. We'll probably get it eventually because they're going to do everything.
At this point, we've had 4 Phoenixes. We'll get a Clone Saga.
Let me ask you this point. At what point, and I'm not saying I want this, I just feel like it's inevitable. At what point does Marvel, and I understand a lot of people are going to say, oh, it already has happened because of all the TV shows. But like at what point does Marvel just truly go full Star Wars? Where like we're going to have a TV show of Spider-Man. We're going to have a TV show of Captain America. Like, I know what we already kind of do.
There's an animated and a Spider-Man noir coming out next year.
Yeah.
We're getting 3 Spider-Man adaptations like in 1 year.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of happening.
All right. Well,
like I think the answer is now. I think that we hit all Darth Vadad's notes.
Yes. Thank you, Darth Vadad. You are the absolute best. And you know what? There is some stuff that still is on the list for the Dragon's Den here as we continue to make it. I'm just going to give you guys a heads up. It's November, the next couple of weeks, next couple episodes. I will be doing my usual push of our holiday gifting spirit.
I'll up my Amazon too.
You'll get sick of me asking for stuff.
Speakers and vinyl.
By the end year. No, forget him. It's about the Dragon's Den
speakers and vinyl.
Your birthday's over, all right?
Like Christmas has only just begun.
You're like a child.
I found Nelly's Country Grammar on vinyl yesterday. I was very excited.
All right, put a fucking Band-Aid on your face.
Team Bacondro. Hello, Doug Duger13 here. The way I pronounce my last name is Chiarello. Chiarello, as if it was spelled S-H-A Rello. Chiarello. However,
no hard CH.
Italians and my brother and niece who live out in LA, they made the decision. They now go by the name Chiarello, which I think would be the Italian version of Chiarello. But I say Doug Chiarello. Secondly, it's been a while since I called in with an actual game for you guys to play. So here's what I'm proposing. Draft a team of comic characters that you are going to be taking with you for a night out at Dave & Buster's. And you'll be competing to earn the most tickets in the following games. Let's say skee ball, Guitar Hero, air hockey. What else is at Dave & Buster's? Let's just say standard Pac-Man. Let's go Whack-A-Mole and Dance Dance Revolution. Draft somebody, comic character, hero or villain, whoever you'd like, to compete in one person for each event. So you're drafting a team of folks that you're taking with you to win tickets at Dave & Buster's. I hope you have fun with this. Jake, I hope the new studio and the new home is coming along, and that the Dragon's Den is looking good, sounding good. It's great to have you guys back in person, and welcome to your new place. So talk to you guys later, and I look forward to hearing your picks. Take care. Bye.
Doug Chiarello.
Now we know.
Yeah, I'm still going to go Chiarello.
Chiarello.
I'm a Toon Battalion.
His family that's here says it like that, so we're just going
I'm
with the
far
local.
too Sicilian for that. Okay, this is fun. We are going to draft teams for Dave & Buster games.
Very specific.
All right, I'm writing this down.
Yeah, because there were so many.
Coy, Jake.
And it's one person per game.
Yes. So we're each going to be drafting 6 people, one per game, to see who beats who.
Okay.
I think we need to alternate who gets to go first for each one, right? Because
That's
otherwise
fair.
it's... And I guess for stuff like Pac-Man, it's just points, right? Who's going to get the most points?
Yep.
Same thing with Whack-A-Mole. All right. So the first game is Skee Ball. I'll let you go first since you have since you're...
Okay. Skee Ball.
I feel like every time we do these kind of sporty ones, it's a very short list of obvious answers.
Yep. I'm trying to think of outside the box, but you know
Sure.
what? I'm going to go a little bit outside the box. It's still an X-Man, but
Okay.
I think someone that would be really good at precision, accuracy, landing, and with a sliding motion that doesn't get used enough, Iceman. I think Iceman would be an excellent skee ball player.
Iceman.
I also think he'd enjoy it. I think it'd be fun to do skee ball with Iceman.
Okay, yeah. That's enjoyable. I think when it comes to that, yes, you would think the people who throw stuff and hit targets is obvious, but this is bowling with accuracy. This is physics. This is Peter Parker Spider-Man. This is all about physics.
All right.
Because he knows
very
exactly
similar
the
personalities.
angle. Yeah, but you also know the exact angle that you need to throw something.
Right.
Like that's
but Iceman would too.
I think to a lesser degree. I don't think Iceman is as smart as
I think
Parker.
Iceman is better at sliding things. Spider-Man is better at thwipping things. I'm going to go Iceman still. We've got 2 out of 3 amazing friends. Let us know, audience.
I disagree.
I think
All
Iceman is a skee ball.
Okay,
zealot.
Guitar Hero.
This is great.
All right. Here's the thing about Guitar Hero is that like it's dated. It's a very specific
Era. Still a
era.
great game though.
Now, the reality is like comic book characters live within bubbles of their times, so every comic book
Spider-Man's 20
character
for a
is
while.
all ages.
Yeah.
Right. But I kind of feel like it's got to be somebody who's like that I associate with like a specific age.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Somebody who's dexterous,
Right.
good hand-eye coordination. I mean, the obvious thing is like, all right, a character who plays real guitar, but as somebody who plays real guitar, I can tell you, Guitar Hero playing real guitar does
Very
nothing.
different. It's a gaming skill, not a
Nothing
guitar
to
skill.
aid whatsoever. I'm gonna go. I don't know why it just popped into my head because he seems like the kind of guy who would really thoroughly enjoy it and like practice it and get really good at it. And that is Nightcrawler. I'm already into the X-Men.
That's fun.
We
Okay.
already have 2
Yep,
X-Men.
2 X-Men. Okay.
I feel like it's sort of thing he would be like very much like urging people to play with him.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with X-Men adjacent. I think of Guitar Hero as an exceptional game, but also performing is a huge part of the enjoyment of it. So you'd be a performer, and I think that Dazzler is going to be crushing it on Guitar Hero, and I want to see her.
Really?
Alongside
Because it's
it.
not Rock Band.
It's not singing.
She's not
but
singing.
I guarantee she plays. Guarantee. And I guarantee that she's doing long tours on the bus, mastering her Guitar Hero skills.
Okay. All right. Air hockey.
It's ironic I already used Iceman. Air hockey, I'm going to go with someone who is good at defense and offense, who's a tactician, who sees everything a few steps away, who is, yes, an X-Man, Cyclops.
Okay, well, I've already beat that because the obvious answer there is Flash. We're done.
Oh, yeah. That's fair. All right, I'm going to defend my guy.
I mean, like, literally, he just moves so much faster.
I was trying to save a speedster for the next one. I know where I'm going.
Somebody, like, he'll be like, yeah, you'll never get anything
There's
past
not a
him.
defense or offense option. That's
You're
fair.
just-
okay. All right. But mine's got
In fairness, he is limited to the speed at which air hockey happens,
which is slow for him.
But still, in my
Flash.
opinion, that's a no-brainer.
All right, that's fair.
Pac-Man.
You know what? I'm going to commit.
I go first.
Yes, sir.
That's right. I forgot. I just realized that. Pac-Man. So is this somebody who because Pac-Man is all about patterns.
Yep.
Right? Man. Without like pulling out apps and looking at characters, right? I'm trying to not overthink it all.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like my brain immediately goes to Reed Richards.
Oh, that's fun.
Patterns.
Yeah.
There's a technical element to the game. He probably understands the inner workings of the machine. He probably understands the nuance. I don't think that his superpower will come into play in any capacity. But I'm not sure how most
way
people's
of thinking.
Yeah. Because again, it's not like somebody who's really fast on Pac-Man's he can't go faster than the speed of the game. He can't make Pac-Man move
I would
fast.
argue Reed's gonna get bored though. I don't see Reed sticking around. I think Reed's gonna be like
He's
distracted doing some
though.
science. He is competitive.
And the whole point is we're all going to hang out at Dave and Buster's.
But you think Reed's gonna stay for more than 10 minutes?
That's all he needs to
All
fucking
right.
get the
All right.
world record on Pac-Man.
I'm gonna go with someone who is a professional gamer. I'm gonna go with someone who lives in the mall. I'm gonna go with Jubal fucking Lee because I guarantee the highest score at Pac-Man is the woman who stays in the mall, pumping quarters, wearing that yellow jacket, doing the work. Jubilee v. Reed Richards. The only time that's an actual competition is on Pac-Man.
I just want. All right. Okay. You know what? I'm not even gonna say it. I'm gonna save it. I like this. This is fun. That would be a comic I would like to read.
I would read the fuck out of that.
Just because she would annoy him so much.
And I love the idea that his boredom would actually maybe be thwarted by Jubilee's persistence.
100%.
Like that's a fun comic.
100%. And she would be the reason he sticks around.
Out of spite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
100%.
that's the only time there would ever be a competition where
All
Jubilee might beat Reed Richards.
Okay. Whack-a-mole.
I'm first.
Yes,
This one I was saving. I decided to go all X-Men a while ago. Quicksilver is obviously so spiteful and so fast and such a dick. He would be enjoying whacking the mole as well as using his speed. So this is a combination of both his power and his personality. All day Quicksilver.
All right. Well, if you're gonna go Quicksilver, because it is about speed, as far as like, there's only so many of them. They're gonna come up. You need to get as many. The question is, do they pop up faster after you hit them down? I don't think that they do.
But pattern recognition is part of Quicksilver. Like he'd be able to see.
Right.
Which to me, combined with the speed, means like almost indefeatable.
All right. So I might lose this, but only because he would inevitably break the machine. Because he would have to use Mjolnir. I'm going to use Thor.
It lasts 2 whacks.
Thor, because it would be really funny.
It would be very funny.
Because it's a hammer-based game.
Yeah.
Or club, whatever it is.
I might have just balanced out my one earlier Flash air hockey with, because I think Thor loses immediately, just like Cyclops loses immediately.
Or
I think he gets 2 whacks. I think a whack mole. Like I think it's it.
Or does he use his electricity to alter how they're coming out as well?
Manipulating the game.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. I get to pick the first for the last one, which is Dance Revolution.
Oh, that's fun.
Dance Revolution. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of obvious answers for this, and I'm trying to avoid the obvious answers. I do feel like it's about a lot. It's coordination.
Yeah.
Right. It's not actually important that you can dance.
No, much like Guitar Hero.
It does make it fun.
It's visually. That's why I like it.
But it's all about like just making sure you can press the right things at the right time.
Yeah, you're the controller. Like the controllers.
And so with that said, I think I'm gonna go. This has been a very X-Men Spider-centric thing, but I'm gonna go Doc Ock. Because he's got a limb.
Extra limbs.
All he has to do is just hover.
And then pop, pop, pop.
He doesn't actually have to rotate his body ever.
Yeah. He's just playing it like it's a big pad.
Yes. He just has to depress when necessary. Because there's 1, 2. Oh, he's still missing.
He is.
1 limb.
Yeah.
Because it's 9 squares.
Yeah.
Right? It's one in the middle.
Though.
But I feel like, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. If he's got 1 foot on the left and the right.
Yep.
Okay. Oh wait, but you don't use your hands.
No.
He's still missing.
He's still missing.
But
half.
he still has 6.
He still has twice as many.
Well, he has 6.
Yeah, he has twice as much as the average person.
What happens is he has 1 in the top left, top right.
Yeah.
That's his 2 arms.
And then his 4 in the back controlling the whole
No. His feet are middle left, middle right.
Got it.
His other set is back left, back right. So all he has to do is move left and right to the middles on either foot, arm, whatever. Yeah, I'm going Doc Ock. Also, it'd be really funny to watch Doc Ock to rent.
And just him yelling like "Dolt." I love that one, but I have the answer, and I think it's very clean. It's not a speedster. It's not someone that is known as a dancer, but it's someone that is good at recognizing exactly how you need to move in a situation that would make dancing look effortless and hit every single button without fail. Someone who recognizes how to move professionally. Taskmaster. I want to see fucking Taskmaster owning the DDR board. He just watches how they move, learns their patterns, and then uses those powers to dance.
But doesn't he need to watch another person do it?
There's someone on the screen. DDR is someone moving.
Oh.
So he's literally...
No, is it really? No, I think I don't think the person on the screen...
and then the arrows.
No, but that person, you're confusing games. You're thinking of, is it called Just Dance? The person on the screen in Dance Dance Revolution isn't doing a dance on the feet. They're just a person. It's just a cartoon person dancing. I still think
his skill set would be able to see those arrows and make that like art.
I disagree.
Taskmaster versus Doc Ock.
All right, I don't. Yeah, duo. You guys decide who wins.
818-794-0722.
Who wins in skee ball between Iceman and Spider-Man? Who wins in Guitar Hero between Dazzler and Nightcrawler? Who wins in air hockey between Cyclops and the Flash? Who wins at Pac-Man between Jubilee and Reed Richards? Who wins at Whack-A-Mole between Quicksilver and Thor? Who wins at Dance Dance Revolution between Taskmaster and Doc Ock?
That's great.
I think we understood the assignment.
The Jubilee Reed, like there's so many good combos in there.
So that'll do it for the hotline. Thanks again for calling that. Please keep calling the hotlines. We really love hotline calls. It's our favorite. I mean, I was speaking for both of us. But, it's my favorite
I love hearing
part,
from you guys.
My favorite part of the show. It is that time. It is the first episode of November, which means it's time to pick our November unpunchable gift horse of the month. If you're not sure what this is, well, you got to head on over to patreon.com/KOICast. Each and every month, eligible patrons get entered into this monthly contest, the winner of which gets an item of their choosing from the shop over at dragonwagonshop.com. You get your name and lights in the Discord if you happen to be in the Discord, and you get to add something to Koi and I's watch list for the patron-only pod, which, by the way, we are very far behind. We are aware of that, but 2025 is the year of catching up on patrons. And so you guys are going to be dictating quite a lot of what we do in the next couple of months here. With all that said, Koi, do you want to see who is the official unpunchable gift horse for the month of November?
Turkey Day, let's get it.
Alrighty.
Round and round it goes.
The official unpunchable gift horse of the month for November is Harold Stokes. Harold Stokes, his last victory was April of this year. Harold Stokes, this is, I'm trying to do the math here quickly. It's not math. It's just, I think this is his fourth victory, but he's never had it twice in a year. Oh, no, he did. No, I'm sorry. I just said that. He did. He had it earlier.
You just said it this year.
Never mind. He had one in 2023, two in 2023, two this year. So he's averaging 2 a year.
And
that's actually like, there's only 12 of these a year.
That's actually impressive considering how many.
What is he, 1/6?
Yeah.
He's 1/6 of almost all of our.
Consistently.
Harold Stokes,
good math, good skills, and it's the penultimate month.
You're not the only one who can do math.
Yeah, division by 2.
Stupid jock.
12 by 2, 6 carry the 1.
Not even a jock. You can't even play sports. It's
That's
bullshit.
true. I just lift.
Just fucking fantasy muscles.
Yeah, just Colossus.
Thank you, Harold. Thanks to everybody for your continued support of the program. We quite literally couldn't do the show if we didn't have your Patreon support. So please continue to support the program. Please tell your friends. Join in on the fun.
Also, a great way to support us this holiday season, by the way. If
absolutely.
you know, there's so many tiers, and we are going to be bringing it up more over the holiday. But holidays are expensive, and LA has only gotten more expensive by the day. So if you guys, have anything and want to support the show, Patreon is an amazing way to do it. Join for a month, join for a year, join for however. It just all helps quite a bit, and we appreciate each and every one of you. And that's one of the reasons we like putting your name in lights and giving this little shout out for this particular tier. We really appreciate it. And in this tier, you do get free swag as well as a pick. And then at every tier, you get access to the patron only pod, which is insanely prolific. We have hundreds of episodes filled with dozens of movies, so thousands of reviews. It is quite the abundance. So if you want to check out the patron only pod, we do that every single week. Very excited for this week's myself. It'll be up any day after hearing this, and then a week later we got even more reviews. So
we started dropping those on Fridays.
We
switched to Fridays a little bit
movie release
bit ago because also we it was easier for us to spread it out because
the gaps
it gives more time.
So every Friday when you go to see new movies at the theater, you can also hear reviews about all sorts of stuff there. So check out the Patreon.
You could also hear reviews of not those movies.
Because Jake doesn't go to the theater.
No.
Jake does not. This is the first time
There's
I think
people
in a
there.
year. Ugh. We don't want that.
Yeah.
Jake saw a movie before I did this week. I'm excited to talk about The Apprentice as well as Agatha All Along. Lots of stuff coming in this week's Patreon-only pod. So check it out. And in general, thank you for being here. Give us a call at 818-794-0722. You can also send voice memos to contact@koicast.com. Speaking of koicast.com, check out koicast.com for all sorts of swag this holiday season. Do you have a Koicast fan in your life that you need a gift for? There are shirts. There are sweatshirts. There are mugs.
Or if you yourself want it, just send the people who are shopping for you to the website.
Yeah.
And say, get me this in this size, in this color.
It's a beautiful thing. It helps us and it helps you look sexy. We appreciate it.
Also, Koi, we are on social medias at Koi Jandro and at Jake Lloyd Bacon.
Unfortunately.
And I do want to give a quick shout out to Tricky. Dude's name is literally Tricky.
That is cool.
Tricky, who reached out via, I think it was Twitter, that site that I rarely use now. I feel like
It's a dark place.
Tricky wrote me like probably 2 months ago.
I just popped in
a long time ago. And I completely missed it. So shout out to Tricky. Thanks for reaching out. He reached out asking if we wanted some help with some design work, which was very kind of him.
Oh, it's very sweet.
And we really appreciate you. We appreciate everybody who reaches out and offers anything that we anything is always kind.
Much appreciated. Yeah. So check us out on social media at Koi Jandro and at Jake Lloyd Bacon. And that is going to do it for this week. We will see you in 2 weeks on Koicast. We will see you in 1 week on Patreon Only Pod. Much, much love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you, as always, to Comic Books for existing. We'll see you soon. Bye.
If you're enjoying this podcast or any podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon shop. You can tout your podcast pride while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. Make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com. Get your dragon swag on.
It's Dragon Wagon.